If you enjoyed this video, sign up for the Embody Space newsletter and share the link with a friend. You can also find original content on Facebook and Instagram. Let's start with the talus. The talus is simultaneously foot and ankle. Much like the sacrum is simultaneously pelvis and spine, the talus is the top bone in the foot. So we've talked about the curved upper side that's actually in contact with the tibia and with the fibula and how that's creating the ankle joint. But we haven't looked at the front part or the head of the talus, and we also haven't looked at the bottom of the talus. So we'll start by looking at the head of the talus. Now, what you have to understand is that the talus is angled. So if you hold your hands out sort of in front of you, in front of your feet, that is more or less the plane, straight forward and back, that the upper curve of the talus is on. Now the head of the talus is not in that direct forward plane. The head of the talus is actually going to curve. It doesn't curve, but it angles inwards towards the center line, or medially. I think it's about 10 to 15 degrees. And of course, everybody's different. But that head of the talus is going to be on the tibia side of the foot, and it's going to be pointing inwards towards your big toe, essentially. So if you think about maybe more or less the second or third toe being the forward line, more or less, then you can see or imagine that the head of the talus is going to be curving inwards towards the big toe. So when you're touching your foot, or rather your ankle, into your foot, you can think about that. So we found the upper parts of the talus, so you can find those again in these hollows. You can think, okay, that is the upper hill-like protrusion of the talus. Now, you can imagine the weight coming down the shin bones, and then one of the directions it will take many directions, and we'll look at the way that weight sort of flows and different theories of that. But one of the directions going to flow is down and then forward and to the inside just a little bit. And that's going to help send weight to the big toe and the second toe, basically. It's going to send some of that weight down and in. So go ahead and touch your legs and do that and feel the weight's going down the tibia, down the shin bone. It gets to the talus, and here that bone actually redirects very subtly to the center line. Now the head of the talus is round. So the head of the talus will be connecting to the navicular, which we'll look at later. And it's very, very round. It's almost like if we made the top like this, as we did before, then the head of the talus would even be a little more curved with the hand. And it wouldn't be in the straight line, but it would be a little bit to the inside. So that would be my left talus. It's dropping down, inside, and forward. So if the head of the talus is more or less facing straight forward, and if I were more or less at the top of that hill, it would go directly forward. It wouldn't curve or go any of these other directions. The head of the talus is going in and down a bit, which makes sense because the talus itself is the keystone of the long arch of the foot. So at the top of the talus, at the top of that hill, it would continue to go down. So we have a medial and downward movement. So see if you can touch your foot and feel that particular pathway of weight. That the actual talus bone is helping that happen. If you enjoyed this video, sign up for the Embody Space newsletter and share the link with a friend. You can also find original content on Facebook and Instagram.